I'm 26 years old. I purchased my first van. It was a huge undertaking. I built my second van, and then I built a third and a fourth, and here we are on my fifth. Because I'm a female builder and I'm one of the only ones, I can uniquely appeal to a more feminine market and bring this artistic approach to building. It's truly an artistic process, and if I don't like something, I just wake up the next day and I redo it. Isn't it beautiful? I just love it. All of the layers and textures in here just create this really cozy, ambient environment. And now I'm going to show you guys the upstairs.
Will you join me? Will you roll? Make this house our tiny home.
My name is Abby, and this is my van Flo. Welcome to my van. Come on in. Right when you walk in the door, we have this sitting area. This area, for me, is one of the most important aspects of the build because it is the first thing you see when you open the slider door. It really gives that curb appeal, like I like to call it. The van itself is a 2023 all-wheel drive Mercedes Sprinter van, 170 wheelbase. I know that's a bit of a mouthful. I got this van for an amazing deal. I never buy brand new. I always buy slightly used, and I was just on Auto Trader one day. I had no plans of really pulling the trigger on another van, but when I saw the price of this van, I just knew I couldn't pass it up. So I drove there, I bought the van in cash, and I was like, I guess I'm building another van. And here we are about a year later. I've been in the van space for about 6 years now, which is crazy. I'm 26 years old. I started this when I was 20. Out of a desire to travel the country, but I was very frugal. I purchased my first van. I had to learn all of the skills. It was a huge undertaking, and I built that first van. I ended up traveling to 47 states, and that was just absolutely eye-opening to me. I learned so much about the country, but I also learned that this was a business opportunity for me. I hadn't spent much money on my first van. I was super prudent with spending, but I knew that what I had built could sell for like 4 times what I put into it, basically. So as soon as I got back from that trip, I built my second van, and then I built a third and a fourth, and here we are on my fifth. In my last van, I did a partition wall right here that closed off the front. But in this van, I wanted to keep it nice and open because this is very valuable space. With that said, I added 2 swivel seats right here. So these obviously spin around and you can drive like normal. They turn around and you have this nice little seating area right here, complete with this L bench. This table, of course, is on a Lagoon swivel leg, and you can move it wherever you please. You can also lift it up and off if you wanted. Because we don't have a partition door, we need some way to gain privacy without annoying window shades, which I don't like to store. So I thought a good idea would be to add this curved rail right here with these curtains that actually encapsulate the 2 chairs. So at nighttime, you just close the curtain and you have a fully private living space. Pretty easy to do. While there is no partition wall, I still wanted that aesthetic detail because it matters so much for framing in the space. So I added this archway right here, which I absolutely love how it came out. And right above it, we have this pretty big storage space where you can stuff blankets or backpacks or whatever you want, really. Another thing which I learned is very important in lieu of my last build is having a handle that you can grab when you're getting up, because this van is pretty tall. I like to incorporate a lot of artistic details that really capture your attention. So one of those details is this inset circular window, which is framed with this seamless concrete and then a matching inset niche right next to it. I also added a shelf, and there's also a secret hidden compartment here, which you would never be able to tell, but This actually opens up because no space shall be wasted in a van build, and you can hide something secret in there. There's also storage under the benches, so this lifts up, this piece lifts up as well, and yeah, just really maximize the storage there. This is my second time on this channel. I previously did a tour with my last van, Luna, and it was a big yellow Sprinter van with a very artistic inside, similar to this one. Ever since Luna sort of popped off on the internet, vans and creation and this artistic building operation I have going on has dominated my mind. I love building vans because it is a space that's not super saturated. And of course, there are plenty of companies that build vans, but most of them are very utilitarian and based on mere function. Also, a lot of them are built by men and they appeal to men. Because I'm a female builder and I'm one of the only ones, I can uniquely appeal to a more feminine market and bring this artistic approach to building. I also fully work for myself, so I can take a lot of risks that a professional van building company wouldn't be able to take. Because I operate from a place of inspiration, I'm not super money motivated. I just want to create something that excites me. Each of the vans I build takes about a year to construct. So if I'm throwing my whole life into it, it better be worth it. Something like this fully takes over my life. I go to sleep thinking about it. I wake up thinking about it. I orient my whole life around the van build, and I'm daydreaming about that curve, and I'm sketching, and it's all I think about. So if I'm not truly excited about my vision, there's really no point in doing something like this. And now I'm going to show you guys the upstairs. I will say the one idea I had when I started this van was an interior staircase going up to the rooftop tent. So here it is. This was an incredible design feat. Very hard, very frustrating. I love how it turned out. This is my Super Pacific rooftop tent, which I mounted myself with a forklift. You get the best of both worlds. You get to camp and you also get van life if you want it. Right now I'm overlooking the ocean and a sea of cars, and I'm overlooking the suburbs and a construction site. Point being, you get that full panoramic view right from your bed. This is a full-size bed. It's actually an air mattress. This is a hard top, which I have 400 watts of solar mounted on top of, just stuck down with tape. We have screens on the sides, and we can also close up the canvas if you'd like more privacy, of course. You have storage space right here for clothes or whatever you bring up with you, just like you would in a normal tent. And then even when the tent is closed, you still have access to that fan because it comes right down into the porthole. Another really cool thing about having an interior staircase is you have easy access to your roof. So right in front of the rooftop tent, you have a big enough area to come outside and hang out. Actually, just last night, I had this roof rack welded from some guy on Facebook Market to hold my Baja lights. And it gave me this idea to add a little patio with some vinyl boards running across. So that'll make a really cute rooftop deck that you can just come outside and hang out on and watch the sunset. On the passenger side of the van, we have a full kitchen, complete with a stove, sink, fridge, and a microwave. In my last van, I did an air fryer. I found that a microwave is a better thing to have in a van. It's just more convenient, you don't make as many dishes, and it's just quicker. It just really completes this upper head cabinet, which I worked so long to make harmonious with the rest of the build. You can see this curve up here, and the scribe was pretty hard to match up with the wall, so I'm proud of how it came out. Moving down on the wall, we have the Servo Touch controller panel. So with this device, you can see your water tank level, you can see how much solar you're getting, your battery level, you can turn the inverter on and off. Just any technical function you could need that has to do with the battery and energy systems, you can see it all from right here. Then you have a light switch panel, which controls all of the lights in this region, including the ceiling lights and toe kick lights. Moving down, you have a 2-burner 120-volt induction cooktop. I choose these because they're the safest and easiest to install in a van over propane. We have this tiny little sink, which I chose it because it's what I could fit in the space, but now that it's in, I really like the way it looks too. It just scratches my brain. It's brass, so it matches all of my fixtures. And for the faucets right here, we have your main faucet, which pulls down, and then we also have a separate tap for drinking water, which runs on a 3-stage filter. For the countertop, I went with acrylic, which is a material I've never used before. It's pretty hard to work with, honestly, but I made do. And I had to route out this perfect rectangle, but it just looks so smooth and round and perfect. I absolutely love how it came out. We have switches for your water pump and then a gray valve so that you can drain your gray tank whenever you want. And then down here, we have a refrigerator, freezer. I think it's 140 liters, 12 volt, and this is all the space I've ever needed for a fridge. I get a lot of questions or comments of whether this is a dishwasher, but it's not, it's a fridge. You have 2 other storage compartments over here that pull out. And then under the sink, you just have water pump, water filter, and your trash can. Something that is somewhat important in a van, depending on where you live, is air conditioning. The one I like to use is Cruise and Comfort. It's a 12-volt system. You can store it down in one of your cabinets versus having to occupy roof and ceiling space, which I don't like the look of aesthetically. So this is really important to me. One more aspect of this kitchen, which was kind of a difficult design thing that I had to confront, is this curved pull-out cabinet right here. And standing from this side, you can see ample storage space for cans, silverware, or boxes. Anything that you would need for your kitchen endeavors. As an extension of the kitchen / storage space, I have built into the staircase 2 drawers, or a big storage compartment under here that opens up like a closet. I store cleaning supplies in there, and I have a vacuum in there right now, so there's really a lot of space. And right next to that, we roll into the bathroom. Now, this shower is very similar to the shower I did in Luna, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I spent many hours searching high and low for the perfect tile to complement my design. And what I found is I love Luna's tile so much, I just wanted to use it again. I ended up using the same Zellage tile, and it is a Spanish tile, and it's real tile. I get a lot of questions again about using real tile in the van, and it really comes down to substrate and how you adhere it to the wall. I used an epoxy grout to complement the look of the tile, and then down below I used very similar stone pebble tile mosaics that I incorporated throughout the van in the niches. And then you have this super cool function, which this is my first time ever incorporating one in my van, the infinity shower. So the infinity shower is exactly what it sounds like. It is an infinite shower that runs on a recirculating system. So you can take a shower for as long as you want with just 1 gallon of water. The water that you're using collects in the drain and then runs through a filtration system back up through the faucet and so on and so forth. So you can just stand there and have a hot shower off grid. For the toilet and the shower, I went with a Laveo dry flush, which, if you look inside, just has a little bag cartridge system where you push the button and the whole thing spins and suctions down all the waste into a bag that you can then take out and throw into a trash can. The whole toilet just lifts up and comes outside. So if you want to have your full standing space in the shower, you can just remove the toilet pretty easily. It's not very heavy. So for the door, you have a Nautilus in the color bone. It's a self-cleaning door, so it just rolls out and rolls back in. My favorite part of the van build is, honestly, although I didn't expect it when I first started, is this closet and this shower and just that unit right there, and the way this arch or this curve just flows and it's just sort of seamless. It took a really long time to design and figure out how to make it happen, but when I look at it and the way it just all flows together, it just scratches my brain in the best way. I think a hallmark of my designs at this point is the flowy, harmonious, organic feel you get in here. And a lot of what makes that possible is the choice of materials I use. So I have a lot of materials that you would not see in your conventional RV, like the micro cement and plaster I use, which allows me to get this seamless transition between each piece of wood I use. It's really difficult to work with, but again, because I work for myself, I have all the time in the world, and it's truly an art. I don't mind dedicating days and hours to trial and error. It's truly an artistic process, and if I don't like something, if it's bothering me at the end of the day, if I'm going to sleep thinking about it, twitching my eye, like that's not right, then I just wake up the next day and I redo it. I really like the closet in this van as well. Mostly for aesthetic reasons, but it's also highly functional. We have shelves on this side, and over here we have a rack that you can hang clothes with. We also have 5 pull-out drawers with plenty of space for storing clothes. And you even have more pull-out drawers up here that rounds perfectly into the back. I have a special connection with this closet because of how much time I spent building it. It feels like I really poured my heart and soul into this closet. I lost sleep over this closet. Of course, I wanted to make it curve into the back because I love making my life so much harder for those little details. Probably with this whole curvature situation of these cabinets and the stairs, I probably spent about 30 hours before the finishes even went on, just getting the wood to round over and then line up perfectly. So these ones pull out too, by the way. It's a round drawer. Speaking of things that were really annoying to build, we have my staircase. So of course you can't just have a normal, easy to build staircase. You have to maximize the storage space. So I have pull-out drawers built into the stairs. Now the reason why this was so hard to build is because you have to have a perfectly aligned curve drawer face. And it has to be strong too. So you get all this extra storage space, but it's also curved inwards to make sure you have enough space to stand in front of your sink. I really spend a lot of time making sure the ergonomics of the space are perfected. Now we're gonna go into the back. So this is basically the main hangout space, I would say, especially if you have quite a few people in here. I think you could probably fit 6 people back here comfortably, and you have this huge table for just hanging out, games, or eating a meal. This table swivels around in any direction so you can get in and out, and it also collapses down to form the bed. The cushions I'm sitting on are a 5-inch memory foam, and when you make the bed, you just take these back pieces and they fold right into the center. I'm sure you've seen this design. It's not that novel, but it's definitely convenient. In my past vans, I've typically done a fixed bed setup in the back, but I wanted to do this layout because it maximizes the space and it just feels so much bigger in here. You also have the option to leave this in bed mode all the time if you choose, because we have the second seating area up front. Back here, we also have the entertainment area. We have a Bose speaker built into this archway, and we also have a projector screen. So the idea with this screen is you can just set up your projector up front, probably on the second stair, shine it back here, and just watch a movie. It's comfortable. If you want to set it up in bed mode, you could do that and look back on the screen. Also, there's a light strip on the back of this archway to illuminate it, which looks amazing at nighttime. Also, while we're on the topic of design, I wanted to talk about my ceiling really quick. In my last van, Luna, I pioneered this wave you see in the ceiling that sort of flows out of the wall, and it's all very continuous and seamless. And I didn't just want to replicate that in this van because a lot of people have done it since I did, and I just wanted to try something new and exciting. But I love it so much. I thought, well, maybe I'll just take it to the next level. So in this build, I decided to have it come out of both sides and just make the whole thing continuous and seamless. And now it's multi-layered as well, because instead of just one backlit layer, I added a second backlit layer. So all of the layers and textures in here just create this really cozy, ambient environment. Up front, we have a little bit going on. We have a CA Tune bull bar front bumper with these beautiful Baja Designs LP6 lights. We also have a Warren Xeon 12 winch. I like these little yellow details because I feel like it's an ode to my last van, which was yellow. So even though nobody will make that connection, I do. Isn't it beautiful? I just love it. On my back doors, I have two X-Bull storage lockers. So this one's actually a ski box. You can fit skis in here. It has a pop top for more space if you need it. And that is just tons of storage. And then over here, we have just some outdoor stuff that you wouldn't necessarily want to have inside, like gas cans, a propane tank, extension cords, whatever you just don't want to have inside with you. And then there's a little extender handle, so even with this box in the way, you can still, nice and easy, open it right on up. So who knows what we're gonna find under here. We have, you know, a full stove under here. I also have two one wheels. You can't see it right now because it is obscured by my full stove and my one wheels, but the water tank is mounted under there. And I also have another storage space that goes almost the full length of the bed up towards the front. So you can bring a lot of different stuff under here. Every time I finish building a van, my plan is to enjoy it for a little bit and then sell it. And once I get that money, I roll that into my next project. Although I lost count, I think this van cost around $120,000 to build, and it took me a year to complete. For the time being, I don't really know what my next project is. This van has absorbed me completely, so I am kind of excited to sell it just to open up that creative space again. My advice for anyone who's thinking about going tiny is to rent something first so you can really get a feel for what you actually need. Also, speaking of which, if you are thinking of building your own van, I actually wrote a book on everything that I recommend in terms of materials, building methods, even vehicle chassis, how to buy one. And I put it in my book, which is available on Amazon. And my book is called Wheelhouse. And I give all of my advice that will help you save so much time and avoid all of the mistakes that I made, and also how to just create the most value.
If you like this week's episode, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and check back soon because we have new unique home tours publishing all the time. And if you'd like to join our team and get access to members-only content and unique perks, make sure you click on the join button below.